Something that's been bothering me for a little while is the civility of discourse, the coarsening of discourse. So, in the past month or so, I have seen left-wingers say things quite seriously about using conservative voters as fuel to heat up pensioners in the winter time. I've seen right-wingers talk about excluding portions of the population on religious grounds from voting, or doing much worse things to them. I've had people, when I challenge them on the things they're saying, basically say to me, well, the other side does it, so it's fine. We let these lot get away with it, why can't we do it? My argument is, just because the next man punches somebody in the face doesn't mean you should punch them in the face back. Just because next man kills somebody doesn't mean you should kill their friend. It's a ridiculous idea that just because one side of the argument feels it has to coarsen debate, it means that we should do it too. And it puts a lot of people off. It really does. And this is my main issue with it. Beyond it just being downright ridiculous and, quite frankly, hateful. My main issue with the way the debate is going at the moment, and this even applies to the sort of so-called cuddly centrist types who pretend that they're all about friendly discourse, yet shout and scream and holler about intersectionalism or all the rest of it at the expense of other people. This applies to everybody on all sides of the political spectrum, equally, quite frankly. Why can't we have a fair exchange of ideas and disagree politely? I had an encounter on Twitter yesterday. Some guy who, I think he must have been doing like a Twitter search on keywords at the time, when the whole Tom Watson thing at the Labour conference kicked off. When John Lansman was trying to deselect him. Was trying to eliminate him as a deputy leader. When all that kicked off, I basically said on Twitter that this was a stupid idea, and it doesn't look good, and it doesn't play well, and you are trying to win an upcoming election, which we don't know when it's going to land, on your radical new policy agenda, and all people are going to be talking about is, well, they just got rid of Tom Watson. Oh, goodness gracious me. And so this guy, out of nowhere, me and him get into a bit of a ridiculous discussion for about 2 days. Backwards and forwards on Twitter mentions, which is pretty normal. I'm used to it. Whatever. Some trolls are entertaining on Twitter, some aren't. This guy wasn't. But yeah, he had a good go at me and called me some sort of centrist lovey. I have issues with the Labour Party at my own local level, and so I'm taking it out on a national level, which is not true. It just got very, very silly, right? So I thought, okay, that's the end of it. He's disappeared off into his own little world and he's gone off bothering somebody else. Yesterday, I uploaded, Captain Swiss, thank you very much, by the way, retweets my first video that I posted on YouTube. And I get a response to that retweet, and I know that because it was Swiss was tagged in it, with a completely unrelated Metro article about Tom Watson stepping aside. So first and foremost, this guy either hasn't seen my name floating around for a while, or has all of a sudden taken it upon himself to redress this argument we had about a week late, by sending me this article. And so I just responded to him and said, look, what's your issue here? And then he reopens the old argument again. I'm like, fine, whatever, this guy's an idiot. And then he starts trawling my timeline and throwing nonsense at me and at other people who are talking to me on my timeline. And so me and him had a little discussion off, in public, but off thread, if that makes sense. About why he's decided to target me. And basically his thing was, well, you're a centrist. And I believe you spout fake news and you're just a wrong 'un, and so I'm going to target you. And I tried to have a reasonable discussion with him yet again, third time's a charm, because he then brought up something I said about the SNP and the Brexit Party being represented in debates, which I will probably talk about in its own separate video, and basically accused me of saying this just to get back at David Lammy. I mean, okay, David Lammy is not my favourite politician. I am not secretive about this at all. I cannot stand him. But I have better things to do than go after David Lammy. I was saying it because I thought that the double standard was slightly ridiculous. But we'll get to that in a different video. But yeah, so this guy then, I basically said, look, I'm not interested in having this discussion with you because you're not interested in having a reasonable discussion. And he basically accused me of running away. Now, I retell this whole story to you because this is symptomatic of everything that's wrong with Twitter at the moment. This guy claimed to be a free thinker, yet he seemed to be the most tribal person I've seen on Twitter in quite a while. It's pretty... Anyone who says in their Twitter profile that they are a free thinker, I'm automatically suspicious, because unless you prove that out to me, and some people do, there are exceptions to that rule, unless you prove that out to me, I'm instantly going to think you belong to either the right tribe or the left tribe, because somebody who feels the need to say that in their Twitter profile obviously isn't very secure in that. But the general state of discourse on Twitter and on Facebook, because I've seen very similar things on Facebook threads, which everyone forgets about Facebook, by the way, when this discussion comes out. Everyone assumes that Twitter's worse, and I think I know why. Because Twitter, you have the discussion in public. You have the threaded discussion in public. People can walk into part of the thread halfway through. It's like walking into a cafe while someone's having a heated discussion. Whereas on Facebook, any real serious discussion you get into is had on Facebook comments. So unless you look at the Facebook post in the first place, you're never going to see those comments. But anyway, I think that's why people are slightly biased when it comes to Facebook versus Twitter. But yeah, we need to do something about social media discourse. We need to tidy it up a bit. We need to grow up a bit. I think we all need to start having respect for people who we disagree with. It's a lost art. I miss it. And I've noticed how it's put people off. I've noticed how it's put previously very well engaged people off. If we're losing quality minds, if we're losing people who can bring quality ideas to the table because people have decided that we're going to have a full-on war on social media because politics, then I don't really know where we're going. It's quite depressing, honestly. And I think we need to step up and do what we know as a society we can do and actually have a decent discussion. Obviously, we're never going to get rid of all trolls. People are going to troll for the sake of trolling, I understand this. But it feels like the majority are doing it, not the minority at this point.